Travel about 45 minutes from Cancun airport and you will get to the Grand Riviera and Grand Sunset Princess, two all-inclusive resorts, but the restaurants, the theatre, the spa, the gym, all shared between them. So it's basically one big resort. So as you approach in your taxi or on a coach, you will either go to the lobby of the Riviera, where you'll find there's the check-in desk, as well as a bar and the drop-off point. Alternatively, you may go to the lobby of the Sunset, where again, almost the same but the other way around. Bar on one side, reception on the other. But we're going to start our tour right down the other end of the resort. We're going to go down to the beach and work our way back up. The beach is got to over this wooden bridge where there's wildlife and maybe some mosquitoes and stuff as well. But as you can see, the sand, beautiful sand, and one of these little fairy Mexican raccoons that we're going to be seeing quite a lot of. Just down that far end is the Platinum area for the beach, and over there in the distance on the water line, there you'll see Cozumel. You can see this beautiful golden sands. Some reviews talk about seaweed washing up. Never saw any seaweed when we were there. There had been hurricanes a few days earlier. That may have stirred the water up a bit. As you can see, the water isn't particularly clear, and I have to be honest, it was a little bit on the smelly side. Going up here past the bar, we come to the barbecue restaurant area, eating place outside, and it's all fenced in. That is to keep those little critters out. But you can get burgers, hot dogs, you can get salad stuff here, and you can get it to take out as well, or as some people like to do, eat in, because you're protected by this wire cage around it. Unless of course they get in and then they are trapped in there. Not that they want to get out, they're where they want to be with the food. And once they're in, they make the most of it. Now these little creatures, they look quite friendly. I wouldn't go and touch them. I wouldn't go and play with them or anything like that. They can be a bit snappy, and if you feed them, you will be bothered by them. This is Bar Paquito when it's opened. Most of the bars always seem to have a queue building up to them, but there is a way to avoid that queue, and that is to go for the old table service, but that's only available in the Platinum area. It is one of the bonuses of the Platinum area. The other thing on the beach, if you go over to the other side, is the chill out restaurant. I didn't go there, you have to pay extra. Let's do a bit of camera magic and just go back past the shop, past the shower cubicles, the toilets, plenty of toilets around. Coming from the beach now, and then we get to Tequila Bar. This is first thing in the morning, it's nice and quiet. As you can see, quite a few shady areas with the sunbeds, some areas without shade as well. Beautiful, clear water, swim up bar. Getting into the water, down a few steps, as I say, nice clear water. There's two ways of getting in on this pool, either down the steps or on the slope. I struggle with the slope because there's no handholds, and that first step can be difficult. So just going across from there, we then come to another bar, Bar Maya, another swim up bar. These two pools together are supposed to be the fun, lively, entertaining bars and pools where you do have your aerobics, some water sports, some music going on. It's supposed to be the noisiest part of the fun bars and the fun pools. You may notice here as well that there's a lack of graduated steps. It's either ladder or slope to get in and out of these pools. The other thing that you have here is the poolside barbecue area. This one doing mainly chicken, tortillas, wraps, things like that. The smell is fantastic from this area. And you also have little kiosks that will sell you snorkeling, excursions, things like that. Every now and then you come across these little blocks, toilet and towel exchange, no need for tokens or anything. And then we have Bar Fantasy. This one is supposed to be a little quieter, but they're just getting ready for bingo. I've heard a fair bit of noise coming from this bar. And in the centre you see that little pillared structure. You get these in all the bars, little jacuzzi areas. Getting in and out of this area does have graduated steps, which makes it a lot easier. My only criticism is that I wish that the handrail that comes out of the pool went all the way to the top. It just makes it that first step a little bit easier. On the other side of this bar you also have a little area for water sports, and you can see the swim up villas and rooms where you can go straight into the pool area, with plenty of places to get in and out. One thing I would say about room choice here is remembering which side the sun rises and sets. So if you want the sun coming into your room, lovely light room, then the sunset side is ironically the better side. If you prefer the shade with sun coming in the afternoon, then the Riviera side is the better side. And eventually up at the top you have the upper pool area. I don't know what it's called. There's no bar here, but it's actually not that far from the fantasy bar, so it's quite easy just to pop back either on foot or by swimming down there to get yourself a drink. So moving on now from this top quiet pool over the bridge, again stopping to look at some of these little Mexican raccoons that are around, we are going to travel up the pathway. You can go left or right past all these sculptures that are a bit of a feature in these beautifully maintained grounds, past the villas on one side and the suites on the other. We will eventually get up to the main reception area, which is where a lot of the nighttime activities and most of the restaurants are. This area's got a slightly different feel to it. Very simple design, but can actually be easy to get lost in. You've got a theatre at the top, and on the bottom you've got a gym, you have got a spa, and then as you go round to the other side, you will find at the bottom you've got shops and you've got the two buffet areas, and on the top area you have got bars and the specialty restaurant. There's also a main bar at the bottom level as well. In the evening the atmosphere does change a bit, becomes a lot busier, as you can see. This is the theatre. Not the best designed theatre there is. It's a bit like a school hall, which does affect the acoustics and the feel. Again, there is a bar in here as well. The shows themselves are actually, they're quite good. The reason I'm hesitating is that the performers are good and no problem with the performers, but the sound system just isn't up to the volume that they push out, so therefore you'll get an awful lot of distortion. But there's still a bit of an atmosphere here. But of course one of the main things is food. This is the inside of the buffet area. There are two of these. The only difference is the colour of the wood and the colour of the glass. The food in the buffet area, I have to say, is okay, but it is buffet. You also got here a specialty restaurant, the miso, Thai restaurant. This was one of my favourite meals. Quite adventurous with the food. It also is the place of the teppanyaki area. The thing about teppanyaki is that you don't sit at a table, so you could end up sitting with people that you don't know, that might have had a bit to drink, might not know when to just be quiet, and that can change the atmosphere. The thing about the specialty restaurants as well is that you can only book them 2 days in advance. So the advice is, the moment you get into the resort, book your specialty restaurants. Talk to the concierge about that. If you're in Platinum, talk at reception. But there is also an app that you can use to book restaurants with. If you're really desperate, I have heard that you can actually bribe them at the door to get in. 4 of the restaurants are split with them either side, with another little bar area in the middle. Looking back there at Miso, but just next to Miso, you've also got these 2 restaurants. You've got Fleur, the French one. I'm not going to comment on that. I didn't use it. Next to that, though, you have got the Mexican restaurant. Now, this is in Mexico. You'd think the food here was going to be good. That La Hacienda. By the way, just looking down there, you'll see a little amber area. That's another bar. And again, you have the 2 little side restaurants with a bar in the middle. This is La Hacienda, Mexican. I just don't feel it had a great deal of atmosphere in here. But you can see into the kitchen. It's right there, which begs the question, if the kitchen is that close to the table, why is it that all the food that I had was cold? This is also the only restaurant where you got attempts to upsell things. Here's the sports bar. In we go. Didn't use this that much, but I hear it's got a bit of an atmosphere, and although that food doesn't look that great, it was very tasty. By the way, this is just going right down to the other end of the resort, and this is for a gala dinner only available to people who are in the Platinum Suites. It's also a place that you come if you're in the Platinum Suites to have breakfast. Although you can go up to the main reception and get breakfast there. My top restaurants were the Thai restaurant and the Italian restaurant. The steak area are once pleased with. Both the Sunset and the Riviera have got the Platinum areas, which come with their own pool and everything. They are identical to each other. This is the one on the Sunset side, and as you will see, it has its own reception area. It's got its own little pool down there. We'll come to that in a moment. The reception area has a toilet, has concierge. You can check in and check out here. It's quite a nice little quiet meeting area that has 24-hour snacks and a bar here. And actually the service here is good. The drinks are a better quality, service is quicker, fantastic. Now this is inside one of the suites. I wasn't too clean on the amount of glass doors, and it actually makes the room very bright at night if you feel the need to have a light on so you know where you are. Sliding cupboards that come with an ironing board on one side, and on the other side in a minute you'll see it has got a fair good sized room safe and beach towels, which you can also pick up down at reception. It was clean. My only criticism, as with almost all hotels I go to, not enough plug sockets near the bed, and the electricity power isn't that strong here, so therefore it can be a bit of a pain charging things like toothbrushes, phones and stuff like that. That was our first room. We found it a bit dark. There wasn't much of a view because of the trees. We are lucky we moved rooms. and went onto the top floor. So if you want the top floor at the back, you will get a sea view. If you want brightness, go on the side that's facing the pools. You have your bottle of spirits and a coffee machine. The coffee is absolutely awful. There's the plug. Where's the plug hole to plug it into? In this room I couldn't find one. I ended up having to pull the whole desk out, move the TV and everything just to plug the coffee machine in. This here is the Platinum pool. It's small, it's quiet. You do have to grab a sunbed if you want one, and here's a tip with the sunbeds. Mark them with a towel, also mark them with a little book or something, and then tie your belongings when you're using it up into the roof space. Get your bags up off the beds so that if you have to go away, the animals don't come and nick everything. Now this is at the top floor, and you do get the little beasties going across the rush rooftops, which is a bit fun. It does mean that your whirlpool bath, whatever it is on the balcony, also gets full of little rushes and stuff like that. Don't worry too much about walking. It's quite a distance, because there is this little thing, the buggy, that goes daily for every 15 minutes, and it doesn't take that long to go from the Platinum all the way up to the main reception, and it stops a couple of times on the way. Here you see we're going to be going past the outdoor children's play area, which is on the Sunset side, as opposed to the big indoor one, which is on the Riviera side. Staff on these buggies are very friendly, very helpful, and I can't say enough praise for them, really. The transport stops just outside of the shopping area, either side of the resort. Now you'll also see a slope, and this slope is important because if you go up this slope, and it's the same the other side, you will get to the lifts. As I say, there's lifts either side. They're not greatly signposted, so it's quite likely you will miss them if you don't know they're there. So let's just quickly jump over to the other side of the resort, and again you see you're going past the shops. This is on the ground floor, past the shops, and then coming up on your right hand side here you'll see the slope or steps, they're right next to each other, that goes up to the lift, and that will take you to the upper level. Just quickly looking at the bottom level here, you can see there is the big indoor children's area, the family club. Just behind that are the tennis courts, and this I think is where you pick up the shuttle to go down to the other side of the Platinum. This is upstairs now, and if you go taking the lift up, you come upstairs, there's the top of the children's family club area, and I believe that is where you've got the buffet area for children. Again, looking down, that's where you could pick up the shuttle to get you down to the Platinum areas. Now I want to say something about the animals. There's lots of wildlife here. There's monkeys, there's the raccoons, there's birds, and there's deer as well. The best thing is to know about these is they will come after all your stuff. We actually had a whole packet of Tums taken by these animals. I had a book taken by them, but luckily somebody saw that and managed to stop it from taking it too far away. So tie your bags up, keep them closed and tie them up high so they can't get them. They are cheeky little beasts. Don't feed them or they'll be with you all the time. But they are fun to look at.